What's going on? Welcome on into the Ryan Ripken Show. Happy Friday. And look, we're live at 5 during the week, doing some sort of capacity. We might not be doing it like this each Friday, but today we are because we're hanging out, we're having a good time. So if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button, Ryan Ripken Show. Hey, how you doing? Maybe next time, Zach, if we're to do this on Fridays, because when we're at Liv's Tavern, we have a beer, we have a beverage.
Yeah, we
Maybe
probably should have thought about that. That's hand up. That's on us.
I might run upstairs.
I'm not gonna lie. Well, during the countdown, I took a sip of my water and I was like, "Damn!" I was like,
Doesn't hit
"Forgot
the
about
same.
that." Yeah, I was like, "Forgot that it is technically a Friday little happy hour esque." But yeah, happy Friday, live at 5, back at it.
Back at it. And so for those that are, if you're new to us doing, to what we're doing, we have our big shows on Monday and Thursday in studio. So we had our two big guests last week or yesterday. We had Daryl Johnston, who's going to be calling the game on Sunday, Ravens Vikings. And then we had Jermont Jones, new Baltimore Raven, join us. And both were fantastic. But we have so much news that we try to cover. So now we're going to talk a little bit more baseball today. That's our plan here. So, Zach, what is on our docket for all of our listeners out there for this little happy hour special?
Yeah, so doing some Friday housekeeping, and you know what? Just because it's Friday doesn't mean the news cycle stopped. We had some more news today. The Orioles found their lead hitting coach. Assistants will come, but the lead hitting coach has been hired. The former Orioles interim manager, Tony Mansolino, has found a new home that is not in Baltimore. A Japanese superstar coming to Major League Baseball just officially got posted today, and will have 45 days to negotiate and sign a contract in Major League Baseball. And the Orioles' new manager, speaking of the interim one, Craig Albernoz, was on MLB Network today, had some great quotes, great talking points on the show, and really just some things that should get Oriole fans excited about his philosophies and his outlook on the team and organization as a whole. So still a lot to talk about. And then we'll end the show with a little bit of maybe revisiting some banana stuff.
Some say that this is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Huh. Well, Zach, and for all of our subscribers, channel members, viewers, want to shout out our channel members. Thank you guys, and our subscribers for that matter, because I did see Joe right here, channel member from the beginning. Zach, we did go over 22,000.
Yeah. Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, how about that?
Maybe we do need a beer,
Yeah, honestly, you know what? Maybe when we play one of these videos, I'm going to run upstairs and just grab one.
You know what? When we play the Albernoz one, we'll make a move. And
if we're not back in time, don't worry. We will. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It'll happen.
It might happen. But hey, appreciate you guys. And if you want to be a channel member and help us in this process as we continue to grow, click that join button. It means a lot being a Ribs good kid or a Ribs better kid. That's the top one. It helps us out tremendously. And as we're continuing to try to evolve here, and I know I've been saying it, I need the Rip After Darks. 2, since there's vertical streams now and I can do the zoom in feature, that's can take our game to the next level. Before we dive into the first topic, Zach, and you can take lead on it, I do want to shout out Merit Clubs. And for anyone in the Maryland region, I'll be over in Eldersburg tomorrow. They're having an open house. We'll be talking with some of the young athletes there, as well as with the parents. So if you're over there, go out to Eldersburg and at Merit Clubs there. Should be a great time. Believe it starts at 12 p.m. And Merit's been great. And if you want to sign up for Merit, it's $1 enrollment for the early Black Friday savings, Zach. And how do you spell $1?
MERRITT.
See? When I move, you move.
Just like that.
All right, just like that, Zach. Where are we starting?
I guess let's start with, I guess we'll start with the new manager. We'll start with that. I'll go and I'm kind of looking at what we've got to talk about. I'll figure out some segues in. So we've got the new manager of the Baltimore Orioles, Craig Albernoz. was on MLB Network today. And actually, the first one I want to talk about is, we'll go in kind of chronological order. He talked about the interview process and kind of what stuck out to him about the Orioles organization and the questions actually being asked that maybe separated the Orioles from other teams. And I do want to put this in there. Craig Albernoz, this is a guy who has withdrawn his name from considerations from multiple teams last year. He obviously chose the Orioles this year, but had interest from multiple other clubs. So this is not a guy that necessarily the first team to offer him, he was jumping at the opportunity. He wanted the right opportunity and wanted the right organization. And he gave us a little glimpse into what he saw in Baltimore during the interview process that really made him feel like this could be the fit. So we'll listen to this and react on the other side.
Back to the interview process, Craig, I'm always curious about this too. When you were sitting down with Mike, with David, and I'm sure there were multiple conversations here, what were the questions that they asked of you that let you know that this was a good opportunity for you? What were the best questions that they asked of you?
Yeah, the interview process is so funny with like different teams. But with them, they were asking very thoughtful questions about the people, the culture, my experiences, talking about tough conversations, talking about, my experience with the developing players at the big league level, both good and bad. So with those, thoughtful questions, it was awesome and refreshing. You weren't getting peppered with, rapid fire type questions and just talking baseball. Like they were talking about the holistic view of the player, talking about the organization culture, the clubhouse, and also the dugout. So that right there was kind of like the tipping point for me of like, this is somewhere I want to be and could see myself be there.
So you mentioned, Zach, that Craig turned out other opportunities. He withdrew last year. And then when he talked about this year, what jumped off initially was the talent, specifically the young talent, the young core that everyone continues to talk about. And when you are a young first-time manager, you want to go into a position that you believe that you can help a team and a roster that is scratching the surface on what they can be. Because, look, we're going to talk later on about, what things or changes that we're going to keep an eye on. But for Craig Albernoz talking about what is good with this roster and this team, it is the youth. I mean, if you look at the infield alone, you already know who's going to be there. I mean, besides that, you got to figure out maybe a little bit of who's playing first base and when. Yeah. But you were going to have Adley Rutschman back and Sam Basayo with your catcher and Sam playing a little bit of first. Jordan Westberg, all-star. Gunnar Henderson, all-star. Jackson Holiday has the potential to be an all-star, was one of the finalists last year for the voting for second base. The outfield, you're going to have some pieces, but you have young pieces, Dylan Beavers, Colton Cowser. And then on the pitching side, I don't think people realize how good Kyle Bradish is. People in Baltimore do, Zach. But Brad, being my former teammate, he's not a former friend. We're still friends. He's an ace. So you have the pieces and the infrastructure that can have success. So for Craig, hearing his excitement there and saying it's a no-brainer in that thick Boston accent.
Oh, it's great.
I mean, I wanted a thicker accent next time, to be honest. But there's the reason, Zach. And this is, as much as people want to harp on the negatives of what happened last year, the talent still is undeniable. And that was a big reason why Craig wanted to come to Baltimore.
Yeah, and actually one of the things that stood out to me is probably the biggest takeaway from when the time that Albernoz was hired to now. Everywhere you hear about him, every person you talk to about him, it's how personable he is, how he's everyone's favorite coach. His relationships that he bonds with players and forms with players is incredible and second to none. And so I do think that it's important for me, as an Oriole fan and, who follows the team so closely. One of the things we kind of talked about last year was there sort of a, disconnect? Did that first failure kind of get some guys down and everything. So not only for him to be like, hey, this is my MO, is I'm going to, we're going to win. We're going to do little things right, but I'm going to make sure the clubhouse is good. I'm going to make sure the dugout's in order, all that. And to hear that not only was that a thing for him, but during the interview process, it was clearly a thing for the Orioles. So that means that both sides are on the same page, it seems, of like, hey, it's important to make sure everyone, the heads are going the right way. We're all in this together. And I actually saw a quote from earlier. He was actually also on Foul Territory, and he talked about something that I really took away from Stephen Vogt, was he said he treats everyone and made everyone feel like they were Jose Ramirez, meaning every single person knew that they were important to the team. Nobody was more important than another. There was no one person who superseded the rest on, hey, no, he's way more important. Like, we're going to give him more time. Every person, if you need him, he's there for you. We're going to work through this. We're going to get through this slump, whatever it is. I think that's really important, especially with a young team who, yeah, you can say, they saw their failure for the first time. Yeah, that batch, there's still guys coming up. Dylan Beavers, Samuel Basayo, those guys, they haven't had that, punch in the mouth yet. Yeah, they've had struggles at times, but they're going to hit massive slumps, and it's having a guy who's able to work through that and have people on the same page, knowing your role, which, we've talked to how many people. Mark DeRosa specifically was like, hey, I never once with Bobby Cox went into a season, drove to the ballpark, not knowing my role and how important I was to the team. I think that's a big, big thing for me that I loved hearing is, hey, we're committed to making sure that the clubhouse is good. It's not just about, okay, the team-o on the field, players are doing well, the rest will work out. It's, hey, it starts with us, and then the product on the field is going to improve because of it.
Yeah, but it's saying the right things, and it's trying to lay that foundation, from the start. And the reason why we know actions are going to have to speak louder than words, but it's good to hear the words that you expect to then be the actions later on. Like, what the precedent for Baltimore Orioles baseball is supposed to be going into 2025. You're hearing what the focus is going to be. And now you got to see if that actually is put into action. So it's great to hear so far. I like what I'm hearing so far, but now can we see that action put into place with the results? We're going to see a lot of other things that happen over the course of this offseason, not just with the Orioles, but how the rest of the AL East landscape shakes up. There's a ton of moves. All around baseball is going to have a ton of moves. And unless you're the Dodgers, where you're already going to be considered one of the favorites to three-peat, everything else, we're going to have to see how things are constructed and then see what goes on from there. Zach, I know we have that second clip that we want to play. How long is that second clip?
43 seconds. So you're going to have to rush.
I am curious if I can run up and get my adult beverage.
All right. You do that. I'll get the clip. If you're not back, I'll take over, and then we'll go from there.
All right, ready? So why don't you tee it up?
All right. We're going to talk. Yeah, so we just talked about Craig Abernathy and his excitement for obviously the players and everything. He talked about that right here, and we'll react on the other side.
What excites you about this roster when you took this job and you obviously got a chance to look at that roster? You've played against these guys. What excites you about this team?
I mean, the talent alone just jumps out at you, right? And also the young talent with that core. But also they've had success at the big league level, pretty immediately. And then last year they went through adversity. And I talked about this before. It's tough to curate that adversity for young players in the development. So to have it happen last year and kind of to all of them either dealing with injuries or not having the season they wanted, now these guys are hungry, ready to bounce back and show the world what they can do. And I'm just happy and fortunate to be a part of it.
Wow. Showing the world what they can do, and you just showed the world what you can do. There we go.
I don't know if you saw, I almost didn't. I missed my chair a couple times. Cheers, though, by the way, Zach.
Yeah, I was going to say, cheers, please.
Oh, you know, a little Mick Ultra here on this happy hour Friday.
What can I say? I guess this is for 22. 22K. We'll have a little cheer. So cheers, everyone. Thank you. Thank
Hey,
you.
hey, cheers to you guys. Hey, since it's Friday and it's happy hour, we're live at 5. Well, I got a little fat tire to celebrate, and Zach wants a Mick Ultra sponsorship, so maybe we'll get that down the road.
Maybe one day.
But the word, Zach. Okay,
Yeah.
back to this conversation. I liked hearing the thought process a little bit because this isn't just about analytics and X's and O's. You're looking about creating a culture and an infrastructure that not only is going to help you win games, but is also going to help you set the standard when things go wrong and when you have to make adjustments. Every organization that has success has a culture that is created, and the culture is created because it becomes the standard. And when it becomes the standard, then you're able to then be able to get back to it if you feel like you're not hitting that spot. But then also it becomes your stabilizing force. And for the Orioles last year, Zach, it's no secret, they didn't have any stabilizing force. They had no strength to their team last year, where it's not that they didn't have talent. We've already talked about that. It's not that they didn't have the ability to win certain ball games. It was when they had their deficiencies as a team or weaknesses, they had no stabilizing force to help them stay afloat long enough. Because the reality was, at some point, they did play better baseball for the last 3 months. They did. Problem was, their weaknesses and their deficiencies were so brutal at the time, and they kept swimming in the struggles and they couldn't get out. And so what Craig Albanese is going to be assigned with doing is creating an atmosphere and a culture and a standard. And that's also going to come with the players in that clubhouse and who they bring in the offseason.
Yeah.
The next thing is, we talked analytics, and analytics are going to be so important for the game, but it's going to be the pulse of your team is going to be Craig's. To me, there's 3 things you got to do as a manager. Excuse me. Number 1, create a culture and a standard.
Yeah.
Number 2, you have to be able to manage your bullpen and your pitching staff. I put that high because
I'm telling you this right now. It doesn't matter what he does. Oriole fans are going to be pissed off. And this is so true. No, I don't think a single fan base likes how their manager handles the bullpen. I just think that's the natural thing, because there are days that guys can't go. Fans don't know, hey, he's a little sore right now. He can't throw right now. And it's, why didn't they bring in so-and-so? Why didn't they? But I agree. Continue. I just wanted to put that out there, that I'd love that nobody likes how their bullpen is managed.
No one does, but it's also understanding, how do you keep a bullpen healthy for a while? How do you keep your starters healthy, but also understand how long you let them go in a game? Like that to me is so, so vital. And of course, we can talk about the executing, the bunts, the getting a runner in, but that's a philosophical thing. That's not just on the manager. That's an organizational trait that you have to create. The final thing, Zach, is you have to have a pulse on your ball club. So to wrap it up here, create a standard, manage your pitching staff, and number 3, you have to have a pulse on your team, because that is what's going to keep you from not just winning a couple games. That's going to have you get on a hot streak. Also to help you get out of a cold streak. And your ultimate goal is to win a World Series. Look no further than the Dodgers this year, and you can say, yep, it's the talent. The Dodgers have talent. But you're telling me that Dave Roberts and the analytics were saying, well, you know what, Dave, why don't you put Miguel Rojas in for game 6 and game 7? Or why don't you not pinch hit Miguel Rojas in the 9th inning of game 7? It was a pulse and it was a human element there. And Dave Roberts, you can say all you want, the players trust him. He trusts his players. And with that trust, he's able to understand what they need to do to win games. And the Dodgers now are the 2-time defending World Series champions. Stephen Vogt, where Craig comes from, that lineage, Stephen Vogt, I would argue, is right up there with understanding his guys. And I think that is so important if you want to turn around a team and have a success that the Baltimore Orioles want to have.
Yeah, I agree. It all starts with, I think, the Orioles brought him in because of, yes, there's not, obviously, with a first-time manager, you can look at the, teams they've been on, their success, all that, but that's not going to tell you how they're going to manage the team. So we don't know how he's going to manage the bullpen, all that is to be seen. But something we have seen and you have physical evidence of is everywhere he's gone, the connections he made, and the number one thing you talked about is like getting the clubhouse together. I think that's his specialty. Before even becoming a manager, before we can even say, okay, he's great at this, this, and this, and this, we know pretty well and can almost, I don't want to say guarantee, but you can say almost for certain, hey, he's a guy that players are going to gravitate to. He can bring a clubhouse together, bring a team together, and that is how you get through the tough stretches. I mean, you see how many Blue Jays players talked about, hey, this clubhouse, I never want to leave. Like, this is just so fun. Ernie Clement is crying because he's like, yeah, it sucks we lost, but I don't ever want this season to end because of how much fun I'm having coming in here. And I think that's really where it starts with Alvarez. You can talk about all the time. 2023, Orioles 101 wins. There was not much touching. Nobody else could really compare to the fun the Baltimore Orioles were having day in and day out. And yeah, there were times now they never got swept, so the losing streaks never got too big. But hey, they suddenly dropped, 7 of their last 11 or whatever it is. A lot of times that can be tough for a team, especially a young one. But they were able to get past that because it's, hey, we're in this together. We're improving together. And having the clubhouse all together, I think that's what Alvarez brings before he even makes a decision of who to bring in for the bullpen on opening day, who to, how he's going to, handle the starting rotation. Before any of those decisions, I feel comfortable that he's going to bring this clubhouse together and get the most out of these young players, which is the most exciting part. Is the fact that he can get the most out of these guys, hopefully, bring out the better side of these players. And I like that he talked about at length in other parts of his MLB Network interview, and hell, he's talked about in other platforms and his introductory press conference is, making players obviously feel like they are as important, but knowing players' strengths and how to set them up for success, knowing that, hey, this guy, he's feeling really good right now. We're going to give him opportunities. This guy, even though maybe the analytics are saying this situation's for him, he's at a down streak right now. And if we put him in this high leverage situation, he doesn't, succeed. We can plummet this, even further. It's knowing your club. And I feel like the person, being so personable and the connections he makes and everything we've heard of how much players respect him, love being around him, the energy he brings. So many times last year, it felt like the Orioles had no energy. They were going through the motions. That's the biggest complaint we saw time and time again is there's no life. They're showing up to the ballpark at 6:30 every night, walking on the field and hoping for the best. Alvarez brings an energy, almost like this old school, like they were talking about, old school energy of, hey, we're coming out to the ballpark to have fun. We're going to do this thing. We're going to do the right thing, the little things right, and we're going to beat you that way. I do believe that they are going to play a very fun brand of baseball in Baltimore this year. He keeps saying it, and I think it's true. I it's obvious we got to see action, but I'm excited for what is going to be Baltimore Orioles baseball in the 2026 season.
I mean, it's a team as much as negative as it got last year. And believe me, I'm aware it got negative. And also, maybe it's because I stopped saying the O's are fine, Zach.
I was just about to say the O's are fine.
I didn't say that in 2025. I didn't. But in all seriousness, I'm a superstitious guy. That's why I brought it up. But in general, there's so many parts that go into a season. There's so many parts that go into a successful run. And it's a good reminder that one bad year doesn't have to then springboard 5 more bad years. But it's what you do next. The Toronto Blue Jays, again, great example, where it felt like they had their better years or had the better teams in the past. And yet this year, this is the team that breaks through is because they were able to execute. Baltimore has the ability, but it's going to be a tough AL East, and you can't just rely on analytics. You know, Aaron Boone was saying, and I agree with Booney on that, he's saying that in game, the Yankees are actually less analytical. Like, I do believe that when you look at the Rays and you look at the Orioles, and even the Blue Jays, like I could agree with that. Now, on the other stuff what the Yankees do, they are very analytical, but analytics is only one part of it. So, you know,
it's a piece of the puzzle.
It's a piece of the puzzle. It's not the whole thing. By the way, if you're new to the channel, welcome to this happy hour live at 5 Ryan Ripken Show. Cheers to you. We're talking baseball. We talk a lot of football, baseball here on the show and program. We have our big shows on Monday and Thursday in the studio. Right now we're remote, having a good time and keeping up with you fine people. And Joe, I see that he hasn't had a fat tire beer in 15 years. I got to tell you what, Zach, I'm enjoying this. It might just because it's the weekend and I'm having a good time and I get to hang out with, I guess, you know, I hang out with you more than just today, but like, you know, I get to talk to you and get to talk with the people helping people. And, you know, talk with our listeners and viewers. So one of the things, Zach, though, our viewers I've seen, Laura was saying about like I heard we hired a hitting coach in Baltimore. Ooh. And the reason why we're talking about Baltimore, because this is actually the most discussions. I mean, Craig Stemmen with the Padres is out there, but that's someone that's staying from within that's going there.
Which has been a big theme of this. I mean, you think about Stammen, you think about Kurt Suzuki, two guys that were assistants to the GM that took over the managerial spot. The Braves were a promotion from within. You know, there were 8, you know, quote unquote, there were 8 openings for managers, 3 of which were inside hires. You then have obviously the Orioles. The Rockies have not made, you know, a decision yet. And even the Twins, yes, they are an outside hire, but they hired their bench coach from a few years ago who then ended up being the Pirates manager. So, you know, there is a lot of, you know, continuality. I don't even know if that's a thing, but in the league so far for a lot of these managerial spots, the Orioles and the Nationals, honestly, are the two that you look at and you're like, okay, they're going a different route. And so, yeah, it is the bigger story.
Yeah. And right now, so teams have gone in different routes. Hot route. Hot route. But the teams are filling out their staffs. And so the Orioles are starting that process. They've seen other names leave. We'll get to the one that was the interim manager later on, but Anthony Sanders and Cody Ashley are both now in Detroit with the Tigers. And you're wondering, okay, Cody Ashley left. This vacant hitting spot is open. Well, that got filled today, Zach. Dustin Lind, as Jake Grill tweeted this out, Dustin Lind is joining the O's as their hitting coach, according to a source. And Lind has been the Phillies' assistant hitting coach the past 2 seasons. And Craig and Dustin overlapped on the Giants staff when they were together from 2020 to 2023. Rich Dubroff was on it first. Shout out, Rich. Good kid. So right now, you knew it was going to be a connection with someone that he knows. And also you're bringing in fresh blood. That's another part of this equation. And Dustin's coming from a Phillies team that had a lot of veterans over there, Zach. Yeah. A huge veteran presence there with a lot of talent. And so I am really intrigued by this on this move coming in. I'm really honestly curious of how many other hitting assistants they go with, but I do like that Dustin Lind is I love the familiarity. You're bringing somebody in and he's coming from an organization that also has won a lot over the last few years.
Yeah, and, you know, he was with the Giants when they won, what was it, like 107 games or whatever it was, just a few years ago. Obviously, with the Phillies last year and the year prior in 2024 when they looked like it, before the Dodgers overtook them, they were the kind of the front runners to, hey, this team looks like a World Series team, especially that offense. I think this is one, you knew it was going to be someone who was close to Alvarez. So this isn't a surprise there. Another younger coach, I believe I saw he was late 30s, 37-ish. But it's a guy who has clearly been experienced. He has been not only experienced, but experienced in high pressure situations. I mean, the assistant hitting coach for the Phillies, and we know Philly fans, we know the pressure to win there and how quickly, if it does not go right, that they will get rid of you. And that, constant pressure of you have to win all 81 games at home because they'll boo you. Even if you've won 80 of them, that one loss, they are not afraid to boo you. So, you talked about having that veteran kind of offense in Philly and how it will translate over here. I'm excited to see kind of how it happens and what goes into it. He has dealt with some very impressive offenses. So I think just there, it's exciting. I do want to say that the wording for a lot of them is he is the lead hitting coach. So there will be assistant hitting coaches. Obviously, which he was the Phillies assistant hitting coach. So clearly they had multiple. I'm okay if there's an assistant hitting coach. It's when we start getting to the hitting coaches that, as long as Lind is the main guy, he is hey, we're going to him. He has assistants that all have. It was when we were getting hitting coaches and maybe too many cooks in the kitchen that I think it became an issue in Baltimore. But this is a very fun hire. I'm excited to see how the staff kind of forms. I would say we probably in the next week know the full staff. Alvarez has been here for like a week and a half already. I wouldn't be surprised if we see in the next week kind of the staff completely filled out. But it's exciting, getting a guy from an experienced team, from a team that has been in the playoffs, who has had success, taking what he's learned there and bringing it to Baltimore, hopefully. And, I'll just say it, connection to Kyle Schwarber. Don't think it's happening, but wanted to throw that out there. But hey, exciting times in Baltimore, finding out a little bit more of what the coaching staff will look like. And hey, just excitement. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. And again, it's you have no idea how these are going to work out. And also, by the way, for everyone to understand, the hitting coach, when you bring in for a team, you want to help those players in season, in-house. And of course, you want to have rapport with them outside of the season. And some teams do, but especially nowadays, Zach, every player goes back home and almost every player hits with somebody, whether that's going to be a family member that's thrown to them all those years, or a parent, or an old coach that they've worked with, or they go to their own hitting coach and work with somebody. But it's not about that. It's about how do you help the guys during the season with what they need to do and accomplish. And that's what they're going to be tasked with. And the other thing they're going to be tasked with, or Dustin's going to be tasked with, is creating a philosophy and trying to get the most out of each player, but not that each player is the same. And Craig mentioned that. And I think with Craig mentioning that, now you want to see, will that philosophy take place with your hitters? Because every hitter on this Orioles team, hate to break it to everyone, they are not the same player. And I think the more that gets recognized and understood, and they understand how to be what type of hitter they are at the big league level, I think it's ultimately going to help the team. So we'll see. We will see on all of that. And look, that's one of the moves. Like I said, you're going to see the coaches, then we're going to see the next piece coming in of, what's going to be the roster construction going into the offseason. And I'm ecstatic about what the entire offseason is going to look like in baseball. We're baseball guys here, Zach. So it's not just what the Orioles do. I just love seeing who's spending dough, who's trading, where's it going to fit, how you going to
every
feel
year
about
there's
it?
one team that comes out of nowhere and just spends. And they, it's not always a LA Dodgers or team like that. Sometimes, we've seen years where the Royals spend $100 million in in the offseason. You know, the Tigers spend a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
it can be anyone. So very exciting. So as we know, one
I
hitting.
want that. Maybe we're going to have that.
We got to get the Boston. I just need to ask him about Cowser and Gunnar just so he says
If I kind of want to throw the accent to him.
Cowser. Oh, try to like beat him to the punch.
Yeah. What do you expect for the development of Cowser?
Yeah, Cowser.
Gunnar. But maybe we will have him on here in the upcoming future.
We will. But as you know, we'll keep it rolling as one coach comes in. Another one we know will not be coming back, and that was interim manager Tony Mansolino. Earlier today, it was announced that Orioles coach and interim manager Tony Mansolino is the Atlanta Braves' new third base coach, the position that he was brought into be for the Orioles. I believe he served as that from 21 to 25 before being promoted to interim manager and now finds his way with the Atlanta Braves. Initial thoughts, just good for Manzo. You know, continuing, I think he's going to get another shot at being a manager. I think it's only a matter of time. Still a young guy. And I do think that this is one of those things where it's not if, it's when. You know, is it next cycle? Is it the cycle after that? I'm not sure. But in the next 3 to 5 years, Tony Mansolino is going to be a manager. I mean, you know, I thanked him on Twitter for putting up with the shit show that was the Orioles when he took it over, because it just felt like the sky was falling. And for him to right the ship the way he did, played above 500 baseball in the final 119 games, not much more you could ask for him. So he's a guy that I hope is thought of fondly by Orioles fans, you know, when he eventually returns. I'm not sure if the Braves come to Baltimore this year, but, you know, he's a guy that I hope gets the love that he deserves for helping right the ship in a pretty crappy year. I know some people, you know, were hoping, they were like, oh, Manzo said he'd stay in any capacity. You know, he's not just manager. You can say that before someone else is given the manager job. It's just, it's hard. And, you know, it's better for both sides if you don't have him as the third base coach, but he was the manager last year. And then it feels like maybe Albernaz, you know, something goes wrong. Guys are going to Manzo. Too much room for unnecessary drama there. Super happy for Manzo going to a good organization like the Braves.
I mean, the Braves got intentions to be pretty damn good this year. And for Manzo, I still believe a lot of people look at him more negatively than they should with how he can be as a manager, in the future. The hand being dealt there, I don't see a lot of people having success, Zach, if any, with what situation he was thrusted into because of all the moves you ended up making on top of it, right? You traded away a ton of bullpen pieces. You traded away some offensive veteran players for your team that were valuable. And they still found a way to continue to compete. Not saying it was perfect because it wasn't. But Manzo has the makings to be a big league manager for a full time. But for him, to your point, Zach, no reason for him, and nor would I want this either, dude. You know, it's a hard thing for him in some cases. I bet he feels relieved in some cases, Zach, where as soon as he heard that he wasn't going to get the job, I mean, he probably knew from the start, all right, I'm not coming back. And I think that that's at peace because you appreciate the time, but sometimes this is moving on to a new chapter can lead to better or greener pastures. Not saying that it's always the grass is always greener, but in this scenario, it's not Manzo desiring or wanting to go somewhere else, but it's leading to somewhere else. And ultimately, that fresh start will be great. And he's going to fit in, I think, really well down there. I think the Braves will love him down there.
I think they're going to score a lot of points this year.
I think they're going to score a lot of points. I think they're going to score some points.
I'm very excited for the Braves, especially with Anton Richardson, the quote-unquote base running savior of the New York Mets, going there at first base, and now Manzo at third base. They're going to run a lot. That's going to be a very, very fun team. But yeah, I'm super excited for Manzo. I think he's going to get an opportunity to manage soon. And I know people, I said I thought he was the perfect guy for the Nationals. Nationals fans did not take that as a compliment. I think Brandon Hyde's going to be a manager very soon as well. I do not think that Brandon Hyde's going to be out of baseball for long. I think that, say what you want about how it ended. That's still a guy who navigated a lot of really bad years in Baltimore and took them to 101 wins, won the AL East, took them to the playoffs back-to-back years. In this industry and pretty much in every league, you get hired to be fired. There are very few managers, coaches, head coaches that get to go out on their own terms. But, so for a guy like Hyder and Manzo, they're not going to be, unless I guess Hyde technically still could get the job in Colorado. Don't know if he would necessarily want that one, but we'll see what happens there. Both of them I expect to be managing, very in the near future.
Yep, and it's true. It'll be interesting to see where Brandon Hyde goes next year as well.
I thought it was the Nationals. It made too much sense for it to be the Nationals. I'll just say it still. I really just thought that young team, they were perfect for, and so many Nationals fans thought I was taking a shot at him when I was like, Brandon Hyde's the perfect guy to run the Nationals right now. Like, Brandon Hyde, I still think is a good manager. I think it ended.
Every manager has their pros and cons.
Yeah.
I just hate always, and I'm not saying that Brandon Hyde is the greatest manager or one of the elite managers, but you can't discredit a guy that helped in the process and was the manager for a team that had the most wins over a 3-game stretch when they weren't supposed to be a team that was going to win those games over that period. So I think that is the part where they played above their potential. And you got to give credit where credit's due for that. He deserves his credit, and he will probably get another chance. But if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live every weekday at 5, live at 5. I know I messed it up. It's probably because I see Brooks made some comments about, relief and whatnot. In some cases, there's coaches, there's a lot of coaches that have been free agents. There's been a lot of up in the air of where they'd end up. We're getting some answers. Well, of the free agent discussion, there's a new player that's entering the market. He's not from here either, Zach, but he's going to be posted here over the next 45 days. And that is Munetaka Murakami, who is going to be officially posted, or he's already posted today.
Officially posted today.
And that means there's a 45-day negotiating window, as Jeff Passan reports here, to come to a deal with an MLB team, and that starts tomorrow. So, a lot of people, we could take a guess of who a favorite could be to land him. I know, besides the Baltimore Orioles, I assume the Los Angeles Dodgers are going to be very in on Murakami's circumstances for a few reasons.
Yeah. I have been following Murakami since 22, 23, whenever that World Baseball Classic was, where he was fantastic for Japan. He's a young guy, a lot of pop. Not going to sugarcoat it. The biggest question is, where the heck do you play him? Because the fielding is not great. I've seen maybe some comparisons to, he's sort of like a Eugenio Suarez, not as good of a fielder, but maybe strikes out a little less. But that power kind of, he's going to strike out some. He's going to hit a lot of homers. I'm going to be honest, I've seen some stats that last year, and this is a little concerning. Now, it is a very small sample size, but he's batting, I believe it's 0.095 versus fastballs over 93 miles per hour. Well, the average fastball in Major League Baseball is 94.3. So maybe some concern there. I'm not going to jump out and say that this is the top free agent on the market, or that this is the Orioles signed this guy, or, the Twins signed this, whoever he goes to, they sign him. They can plug him in as the 3-4 hitter for the next 5-6 years and feel good about it. This is still a guy where there are concerns. I don't know if he goes to the Dodgers. I know everyone wants to do that and point to it, and it's the easy thing to do because, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? I don't think he can play third, but now you look at it, it's like, okay, well, they picked up Max Muncy's option. Obviously, you're not moving Freddie Freeman off of first base, which is where they believe he's going to end up playing. So do you just DH him? Well, okay, no, we have Shohei Ohtani. How can we DH him? I don't know if he, maybe they long-term think he's third base and Max Muncy's just going to play this year. And I don't know if he's got room on the Dodgers, to be quite honest with you. Mm-hmm. But this is a guy that his posting was, for the past few years, it's been anticipated. I've seen Red Sox maybe involved in it. Obviously, you have the usual suspects of the Yankees, the Mets, all of that. I'm just very, very intrigued to see where he goes. And honestly, I'm intrigued to see what the price is going to be. How much money is this guy going to get? Because I'll tell you, this isn't Yamamoto coming over where he's going to get the biggest contract a starting pitcher ever has in Major League Baseball history. That's not going to happen. But I'm intrigued to see where he, what his price tag looks like and who's involved in the long stretch of it.
Yeah, the part that's so interesting to try to assess with, especially when it comes to players coming to the U.S. And the perceptions changed, obviously, over the last decades, of how common or uncommon it used to be over the years to now it's becoming more common. And honestly, the barrier for, at least for hitters, Zach, where it really changed people's perceptions, really goes back to, in this case, it really goes back to like Ichiro, where Ichiro was a star in Japan, and people were wondering, well, could he replicate that in the U.S.? Well, the answer was yes. He won the Rookie of the Year and the MVP in the same year, Hall of Famer, one of the best hitters the game's ever seen. But, the next, generations of hitters that have come over, it's been interesting, and there's been some mixed results. People can look at it and go, well, hey, Shohei Ohtani, Ryan. I mean, look at him. Look what he's become. Shohei came over to the big leagues at 23.
Yeah. And
Shohei Ohtani, when you're looking at the upside of a player, he was ready, but he still had to figure out himself, and he still was having success. But we're talking about one of the best players of all time.
I was going to say, that's like if, you assume every superstar coming over from Japan is going to be Shohei Ohtani. It would be like, oh, any player coming over from America, if they played in America, they're like Aaron Judge. It's like, we're still talking about one of the greatest talents we've ever seen in the sports history with Shohei Ohtani. And I mean, the biggest thing is in 2022, Murakami was absolutely unreal. That was right before the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
56 home runs at age 22, 56 homers, 134 RBIs, 1.168 OPS. I mean, the guy just absolutely mashed. But that was his career year. I mean, he hasn't gotten 100 RBIs since then. He hasn't hit for more than 33 home runs since then, actually at 24 this past year. OPS still sitting at a 1.051, so that didn't drop much. More doubles, it looks like. But
yeah, Zach, the one thing that I look at here, and I've seen some comments, and when you've mentioned it about the velo of pitchers, but strikeouts, in his last full season, because he didn't have the full season this past year. In 2024, he struck out 180 times and in 143 games. So look, the game has gotten more comfortable with striking out, but with Japanese pitchers overall, what they are so good at is they have an idea and control of their stuff. Now, the difference of going to the big leagues is the stuff is going to be at the premium. All of these guys over there in the US, for the most part, you're going to get the best of the best on a consistent basis. And of course, you're going to face some of the best over there in Japan. I mean, I think Yamamoto proved his point emphatically of just how damn good he was over there and just how damn good he is and considered one of the best pitchers in the entire world. But it's that day-to-day where teams are going to have to make a decision on it. And no doubt, though, Zach, his market, a guy with the potential to hit bombs, to drive in runs, a team is going to want to bring him here. It's just going to be curious to me, what's that value look like? Where's that fit going to be? And where do you profile him moving forward? So I'm excited to see what happens. He's definitely the name that people are going to watch for right now. But to be honest, Zach, he's not the main name this offseason because of the bats that are available that have already been in the big leagues. So, like, people are going to wonder what's going to happen with the Kyle Tuckers, the Kyle Schwarbers. Why? Because they're coming off of those successful years here. And I'll be really curious about where that market is moving forward. Definitely talented player, but there is going to be a lot of debate on
and
what
I do
that
want
type
to,
of player he's going to be.
Yeah, of course. And when I talk about, obviously, the struggles he has had against velocity and stuff like that, like I'm this is still a star over there. This is somebody that has dominated the league over there at times at such a young age. So there's going to be suitors. He's going to get a contract. He's going to get a pretty hefty contract, I believe, as well. But like you said, I'm intrigued to see how, because of the defensive questions of, okay, can you play him at third? The kind of consensus is he has to be a first baseman or a DH. Okay, are you going to take the risk of him playing third? Or are you going to move off of your first baseman? Are you going to be able to play him at DH and just have a specific, this is like the Phillies with Kyle Schwarber and the Dodgers with Ohtani. Okay, we have he is our DH for all 162. That kind of type of player. And it's how do you value him over guys like you've brought up, like the Kyle Tuckers, like the Kyle Schwarbers, guys like that, especially with Schwarber here. They could be two guys that are kind of fighting for a DH position on a team if they were to decide between the two. And because of what you've seen in the Major League Baseball from Schwarber, Tucker, Bichette, they're probably going to get the nod above and be like, okay, we feel more comfortable. Because listen, this is the new shiny toy on Christmas. It could be anything. This could go completely wrong and he's out of Major League Baseball in 3 years, or he could be the league's next big power hitter. And 10 years from now, we're all sitting here going, why did all 32 teams not talk to Murakami? Like, what were we thinking? Kind of how we look at Shohei, where it was like, what do you mean? Like, teams didn't throw the house at him immediately. Well, there were questions coming over, so it's the same with him. And it's just, I'm so intrigued to see what his market looks like at the end of it.
It's going to be very interesting, but I would be shocked if there wasn't a lot of suitors, because, hey, you believe in a guy. It's the same thing in the free agent market right now, Zach. Even for guys that have been up and down, if you believe in the talent, you will make a more aggressive offer. So we will see what happens. And, we'll also see what happens if you guys haven't already hit that like and subscribe button. We're watching you guys. Hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We're live at 5 during the weekdays, and we appreciate your guys' support and help. And if you would like to be a channel member and to help us continue to grow and bring more content to you, like we plan to bring from the winter meetings in a month, that's our goal here on the show. We were there last year. We're at the Super Bowl. Plus, we still have a lot of great things planned to finish out 2025. And we also have a lot of things planned going into 2026. And we've had great guests on the show, Zach, throughout the whole time of this. We have some more upcoming. But yesterday, if you missed the show, to end this on a fun note, we had Daryl Johnston, who longtime NFL player, fullback with the Cowboys and blocking for Emmitt Smith. And he told some great stories. But probably the funniest moment yesterday, Zach, was we got to talk with new Baltimore Ravens I guess you could say, pass rusher for the Ravens, even though he considers himself versatile and not necessarily a pass rusher. But Jermont Jones joined us, and I think it got started. We were asking about what he ate before games because he didn't like to eat too heavy. And then you guys will see I was wearing a pretty vibrant yellow shirt supporting my friend Gavin Sheets of the Padres here. So why don't we where's that clip, Zach? I'll pull up that clip of Jermont's authentic reaction to the Derry Bonds shirt.
Like a banana rip.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, for the context, you don't judge me too much here, by the way. And you might already, and that's fine. I mean, hell. But one of my best friends plays for the San Diego Padres, and the dude was hitting home runs. So the fans made a Barry Bonds, the baseball player. Well, they made Derry Bonds. So
Derry Bonds.
They started calling him Derry Bonds here. So, like, it's Gavin.
Just so yellow.
It's so yellow, and instead of saying the milk percentage on there, it says 100% slug, like that he hits home runs.
Now that I know the backstory to that shirt got 10 times cooler.
Yeah, see, like I
like that shirt.
I don't do this. I'm like setting the worst first impression for you, but I promise I can be a great asset for you here in Baltimore. I
believe you.
On that. All right.
I need that shirt's hard.
I want to send him one now. I told Gavin saw it, and Matt, who you know, Zach, and they texted me like, I can't believe you wore the shirt. I'm like, yeah, Dre loved it. I'm gonna have to give him one now.
We might have to get 53 of them, pass them out, give them to Nick Moore and have him pass them out.
Might have to get Derry Bonds.
Ravens all show up to an away game in Derry Bonds jerseys.
And could you imagine?
that
was a fun show yesterday. That was a fun show. And if you guys want to check out that interview, go check out that interview. It's up on the YouTube page here. And Daryl Johnston talking about the Ravens. But if you want to see the whole show's on here as well. Again, we're live 5 weekdays. Bam. We had a little happy hour special. Zach, we had a great turnout today.
Fantastic. People
really, it's all because of you all. And shout out this cerveza. What's that in Spanish? Zach?
Beer. I took Spanish. Like I took Spanish 1 4 times. Like I know my Spanish.
Time out. 4 times you took Spanish 1.
So I took Spanish 1 took it in twice in middle school. We had to take Spanish. So I guess technically 3 times, but I was in Spanish 1 for 2 years in middle school. So then I get to high school and they're like, oh, would you like to test into Spanish 2? I'm like, no. I'm like not that fluent in it. So I retake Spanish 1, 2, and 3 in high school, go to college. And they're like, oh, you need to take a language. I'm like, Spanish 1 is an option. Here we go, baby. So I've taken Spanish 1 3 times for a total of 4 years and Spanish 2 for a total of 2-3 years.
So you kept going,
back.
Mi amo.
And you would think the grades would improve. You would think the grades would improve.
Oh my gosh, that's such a Loyola thing right there, man. Let me tell you.
That's where we're taking this.
Let me tell you something, man. Mi amo. Yo soy tu eres ellas. Nosotros somos.
Yeah.
You don't
Yo
know.
soy, I am. What was the rest?
Tu eres.
Your something.
No, it's just the conjugate.
Oh, that's why I was like,
yeah.
Why are you okay? I get what we're doing now. I thought you were forming sentences.
You know what? If I
have to take Spanish 1 for a 5th time, like I'll do it.
Maybe we'll do that during Rip After Dark. We'll go through Spanish 1 again, and then we'll also go through Spanish Rip After Dark the Spanish words you shouldn't know or should know.
Actually,
What I
during
learned
the
from my teammates.
24-hour stream, I'll take a Spanish 1 exam. I'll do that. There it is. During the 24-hour stream, when we hit 24,000, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button.
Hey, did I tell you? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I will take a Spanish 1 exam to see what I do on it. I would actually be very curious.
You know what we're gonna do for? I told you what we're gonna do for the holidays with Deep Eddie. Did I tell you that? Right?
No, you haven't.
I haven't told you that yet.
No. You told me we were doing something that I'll enjoy, but you did not tell me what it was.
Do I say it now? Do I wait? Maybe I'll wait. Maybe
Wait, and keep the people. Keep the
people
suspense.
it's good. We're talking about going off the rails. Oh, we're gonna go off the rails, but we'll go off the rails for a great cause. It's a great message.
Oh, I like it.
It's gonna be fun. All right, well, guys, appreciate you. If you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. For our channel members, I appreciate you. And I see you, Joe. He took it 4 times, and Jeremiah thinks you're well cultured because of it.
That's what I say. That's what I'm saying.
You know, you're definitely that guy that carries like a wine glass around right there, and you're really like, I can see you with the wine glass and with like you're like Leonardo DiCaprio with the big mustache, and you kind of have that meme face.
Yeah,
where you
spinning it a little bit.
Oh yeah,
constant motion.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, TGIF to our friends, we see ya. Oh gosh, I gotta, yeah. All right, cue the music. Is it playing?
Oh yeah. Bam, 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 bam.
As always, here at the Riders, we appreciate each and every one of you. Have a day, have a night, have a great stinking weekend. Come back and join us live at 5 on Monday. Be good. Be safe.